It's fight night. A UFC champion steps into the ring, ready to prove he can conquer any sport. But what happens when a former heavyweight boxer delivers a knockout punch in less than 5 seconds? Or when an undefeated grappling god finds himself face flat on the canvas thanks to a YouTube star? Thanks to a YouTube star. This is the world where champions rise, and just as quickly, they fall. From Conor McGregor's explosive rise to Anderson Silva's hidden boxing match, and the shocking defeats that followed. These are the untold stories of just how brutal reality can be. Stay tuned because you won't believe what happened next, fight fans. Today, we're diving into some of the wildest, most jaw-dropping stories from the world of MMA and boxing. Stories of champions who took risks, made headlines, and in most cases, faced brutal reality checks. You won't want to miss this. So let's get right into it. 1. Conor McGregor.
Conor is the most famous guy in the octagon. Is he the best fighter?
The Irishman who turned trash talk into an art form. This guy didn't just rise through the ranks. He shot up like a rocket fueled by pure ego. He strolls into the UFC in 2013. Knocks out Marcus Brimage like it was nothing. And suddenly, bam! He's got everyone's attention. Now, quick, move to 2015, and he's giving Jose Aldo a personal tour of the canvas in just 13 seconds. That's right, 13 seconds. If you blinked, you missed it. But Conor wasn't done making history. In 2016, he pulls off the impossible and holds titles in 2 weight classes at the same time. Because, why not? It's like he decided to collect UFC belts like they were game cards. And then, because he's Conor freaking McGregor, he thinks, you know what? Let's box Floyd Mayweather. I mean, why not? What could possibly go wrong? Well, everything. But let's give him some credit. He made it 10 rounds with the undefeated Mayweather, which is kind of like surviving 10 rounds in a lion's den. Sure, he lost, but he also walked away with $130. So really, who is the real winner here? Not us after paying for that pay-per-view, and technically the only winner was Mayweather.
Throughout this fight that has worked best for Floyd. See McGregor really gassed a little bit. He's taking some punches, trying to throw back, but it was a McGregor right in trouble. As McGregor goes back with his hand. 56% of power punches is what.
Anderson Silva.
Anderson Silva looking to choke out Henderson.
Dan is in deep trouble. He's tapping.
It's all over.
Wow.
Anderson Silva.
Anderson Silva. The Spider. No, not your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, but close. This guy didn't just fight. He made it look like a dance. Imagine the Matrix, but with punches. And that's Anderson Silva in the octagon. He held the UFC middleweight championship for 7 years. That's longer than most people keep their New Year's resolutions. Silva wasn't just about winning. He was about making it look effortless. Knockouts over legends like Vitor Belfort and Chael Sonnen? Shaq. A precision strike to the face that made you question your life choices. Double check. And even after a major leg injury that would have sidelined anyone else, Silva kept going, proving that legends never truly fall. They just limp a bit. May 22, 1998. Silva, with a record of 2-0 in MMA, decided to try out boxing. He stepped into the ring in União da Vitória, Brazil, to face a seasoned boxer, Osmar Teixeira, who held a solid 7-2 boxing record. This fight wasn't just another notch on Silva's belt. It wasn't televised, no photos, no videos. Almost as if the fight never happened, except it did. And it didn't go the way anyone would have expected Teixeira. I entered the ring, the bell rang, and Silva. He came at me like a storm. Corner to corner, he threw punches, fast, aggressive. I barely had time to think. When we got back to the center of the ring, I could finally see again, because he hit me with a lot of punches. That's when I knew I had to do something. So I threw my first sequence. A few jabs, a cross, and then a hook to the liver. That was it. The end of the first round, and the fight. Silva couldn't come back.
Trying to finish. It is all
A front
over.
kick to the face.
Anderson Silva remains the
3. Tim Sylvia. If you thought life was all about towering over people at 6'8", think again. Sylvia was a beast in the UFC, capturing the heavyweight title and defending it like a fortress. But then, 2009 happened. Sylvia, renowned as a UFC champion, decides to dabble in boxing and faces Ray Mercer, a former heavyweight champion. Sylvia's thinking, yeah, I got this. How hard can it be? Well, turns out very hard. 9 seconds into the first round, and bam. Mercer drops him like a sack of potatoes with one punch. That's less time than it takes to microwave popcorn. It was the kind of knockout that makes you question all your life choices leading up to that moment. 4. Ben Askren. The man, the myth, and most notably, guy who got starched by a flying knee in 5 seconds. But hey, who's counting? Ben Askren, Olympic wrestler, Bellator champ, one champ, undefeated grappling god. This guy was the stuff of legends until he
style. It's different. It's weird. It's unique.
Big Dash, he ran around like a chicken.
wasn't. He joined the UFC with all the hype in the world, took a beating in his debut, then pulled off a controversial win that left everyone wondering if they just watched the worst ref call in MMA history. And just when you thought his career couldn't take any more plot twists, bam! Jorge Masvidal flies in with the fastest KO in UFC history. 5 seconds, just 1-5. But Ben wasn't done yet.
It's no longer funk, it's science.
The man with the worst haircut in all of wrestling, Ben Funky Askren.
He decided to box against Jake Paul. Against Jake Paul. Yes, that Jake Paul. Let's just say it went exactly how you'd expect for a guy who specializes in anything except striking. Jake Paul hit him with an overhand right that sent him straight to the shadow realm in under 2 minutes. I'd say it was a shocker, but let's be honest, even Ben didn't seem too surprised. He took the loss like a champ, but his fans, oh, they're still recovering.
Get my money, Jake! Get my motherfucking money, Jake! Get my motherfucking money, Jake! Get my money!
5. Tyron Woodley, the chosen one, UFC welterweight champion. The guy with hands like sledgehammers and a right hook that could rearrange your face.
Shot, looking to finish it right away. Haran just trying to survive. Big shot, ground and pound.
But this one's a real roller coaster. Tyron Woodley knocked out Robbie Lawler with a punch that probably registered on the Richter scale. He defended his title 4 times before things got rocky.
Check his swing. Oh my goodness. Woodley knocks out Josh Koscheck.
If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and drop your thoughts in the comments section. 6. Frank Mir died. The man who snapped arms, crushed dreams, and even survived a motorcycle accident that would have ended most careers. But can a legendary UFC heavyweight conquer the sweet science? Maybe Frank Mir, former UFC heavyweight champion, submission wizard, and all-around badass, decided to try his hand at boxing. But instead of easing into it, he went up against Steve Cunningham.
Victories, 9 losses, 1 draw, 13 wins coming by way of knockout. Please welcome the former world champion from the rich boxing city of Philadelphia, PA. Here is Steve USS Cunningham.
Just so happens to be really good at punching people in the face. Mir, with all his size and power, was like a bear trying to swat a fly. Cunningham danced around him, landing jabs, hooks, and basically anything he wanted. Mir, bless his heart, took it all like a champ. But let's just say the judges didn't have a hard time picking a winner. It was a unanimous decision, and Cunningham didn't even break a sweat. Mir looked tough, but in boxing, looking tough doesn't win you fights. 7. Melvin Guillard, the human highlight reel, known for his explosive power and speed that could make the Flash look like he's running in slow motion. But his career has been very inconsistent. Guillard stepped into the brutal world of bare-knuckle boxing with a statement. He made his debut with a co-victory at BKB 5, but that sweet taste of victory didn't last long. He faced off against Jimmy Celtic Warrior Sweeney twice. Unfortunately, his bare-knuckle journey took a nosedive after losing to Joe Riggs in under a minute. Yup, under a minute. And then, health concerns led to a fight cancellation against Ulysses Diaz. When the Association of Boxing Commission steps in, you know things have gotten serious. Melvin's boxing career has accumulated more losses than he probably expected. Hey, John Moraga, this guy made it to a UFC title, Mighty Mouse Johnson. Now, taking on Mighty Mouse is like trying to swat a fly with a toothpick, but Moraga showed resilience that made us all sit up and say, Rufo in his debut, he bounced back with a win over Brandon Foss. But just when you thought he was finding his groove, 9. Mark Hunt now. If you thought this couldn't get any wilder, enter Mark Hunt. The Super Samoan. Hunt's fists hit terribly hard. Seriously, when this guy lands a punch, people don't just get knocked out. They get sent into another dimension. He won the K1 World Grand Prix in 2001, which is basically the kickboxing equivalent of slaying a dragon and then riding off into the sunset. He took that dragon-slaying power into MMA, where his knockouts became the stuff of legend. But as with all good stories, there were some dark chapters. Hunt's UFC career was rocked by controversies, including a whole saga with performance-enhancing drugs. And because Mark Hunt doesn't know the meaning of quit, he stepped into the boxing ring in 2020. But his fists weren't enough to stop Paul Gallen. In his boxing career, he only has one win in his name. 10. Nate Diaz. And finally, the middle finger-slinging champion.
Be careful here. Diaz starting to tee off. He stays tight, and he holds onto the leg. Taking him for a ride. Brings him down, but he's got to look out for a triangle. He's got to look out for that right leg. If Nate Diaz gets that right leg over, he's got it. He
Pulling down. Nate Diaz says he's going to win. Look at Nate Diaz.
Double fingers and a fully locked in triangle.
It is all over. Whoa! Nate Diaz by submission. He knew he had it.
Outstanding performance by young Nate Diaz.
Nate Diaz, known for his endless gas tank, BJJ black belt, and a personality that's one part philosopher, one part street fighter.
F The Rock too, man. That motherfucker over here playing me. See him over here smiling with Masvidal. Should have had Mike Tyson handing out a belt if anybody. I didn't give a about no belt anyway, but he could get it too.
In 2023, Nate decided to jump into the boxing world and faced off against Jake Paul. This wasn't just a fight. It was a spectacle, a circus of egos and gloves. Jake Paul walked away with the win, once again proving that UFC champions have no place in boxing. And there you have it. The most unpredictable, jaw-dropping roller coaster careers in combat sports. These fighters have been through it all. Knockouts, controversies, comebacks, and even more plot twists. So what do you think? Who's had the wildest career?